All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is all about elevating your business through learning how to handle objections, what we call handling objections. And we'll talk we talked last week, part one, about handling objections, a lot about what does that mean? What do we even mean by objections? And it's really just stories that maybe keep us back from where we want to go. We don't want to like push people or be weird and attached to the outcome and you have to sign up or any of this kind of stuff that we don't want to be pushy about. But what we do want to do is we want to empower other people to open their minds for more choice, and then they get to choose what they want to do. It's not about us telling them what to do, but giving them choice. And I'm all about choice in life. And when we have more choice, we feel more empowered in the world everywhere we go. And so we started in last week on a couple of the handling objections. If you missed it last week, the first one was I don't have the money. And that's the typical one that you might hear most. So go back to that training, learn that. And then, the one about my credit cards are maxed out was used, and we talked about that one. So today we're going to continue to talk about some of the common objections and stories. And then we're going to go into future casting questions. And I would offer you is, capture the future casting questions really strongly today and take notes, screen capture, write it down, whatever, because people buy more likely if you can help them feel the vision. If you guys remember early on, I did a training on embodying your worth, embodying the vision of the future client. Well, I'm going to give you today, the questions that are going to help you get there with more ease so you don't have to figure them out all by yourself. And what I would say is use these questions on anybody in your life, because most people don't ask everybody what they want for the future. And if you do, people will feel seen in your presence, and they'll open up, and when they open up to their own dreams, they're more likely to reach their dreams. So we got to open people up to possibility, to imagination. As humans, that's what we have. Not all species, that probably have imagination that can manifest like humans, but we do. So let's learn how to ask questions to help our people really get there. All right, I'm going to share a presentation. Okay. Like I said, today it's all about continuing our conversation on handling objections and teaching future casting questions. We are in the sales call part of the conversation about sell, 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 and all will be well, well, well. In the beginning, you want to get ready for the call. During the call, there's some certain things you want to do and be and embody, really. And after the sales call, we'll later talk about some ideas about just continuing to build your capacity to receive more sales calls, basically. How to get more sales calls. You want to follow up, you want to do referrals and have testimonies. And there's all sorts of other ways, but that's just some of the things we're going to talk about. All right. Last week, we talked about, I don't have the money, my credit cards are maxed out, see that training. This week, these are the lists that we're going to go through. I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. Notice where your breath is right now, and as you're going through the training, and really just keep your belly soft, your breath steady, and be with yourself instead of, me or even the slides or the computer. Be with yourself a little bit more today. See what comes up for you. The more you practice this presence piece, the more you'll sell. This is what you need to be able to listen really deeply and catch those nuances that you may not catch if you're thinking too much. So really just be with your breath as a reminder. You'll hear me say this over and over in many, many trainings. And if you get tired of it, well, you're not breathing enough. Breathe more. Soften. All right. I have to speak to my spouse. I have to speak to my partner. Now, what I always say to people is the number one thing I always say is I honor a relationship. So I'm not the person that's going to say, like, don't do what your spouse doesn't want you to do or something weird. I'm not going to get weird. I'm all about building, relationships that are great with all people everywhere. And so we want to honor that. And at the same time, we don't want them to use their spouse or person, kids, anybody as an excuse to keep themselves down, because that person wouldn't want that for them. So it's a gentle play here. So you could ask them then, I always say, I honor relationship. Would you like some ideas on what you could say to your husband that might get him in a mindset to support you? You might say, would you like to role play what you want to say? So I'm not attached to whether they sign up, but I do want to help them feel empowered in their relationship. And I do want them to feel empowered in the moment with me. So I'm okay with a no, but I want them to feel strong in their no, not blame it on Papa Joe or whoever. So, you know, the last piece here, would you like help asking for support? I should say, would you like help? Asking for support instead of permission. So that's the idea. If somebody really, really wants to work with you and they really want to talk to the person, they want support. They don't want permission. Permission is like a top-down thing. They want support. And I don't know if any of you guys, which I know some of you have worked with people in this zone, but it's really empowering when two people have the same vision for something. So it's actually what I want. I'm like, yes, go talk to your husband, go talk to your spouse, go talk to your person. I've even had people go talk to their parents because their parents were going to help them with the investment. They wanted to talk to their family sometime to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where we're going in life. So I'm very much a proponent of say, hey, okay. And let's talk about how are the ways we can ask for support. Let's talk about the vision. What is this all about? Really get clear, not, hey, I want to do this, can I? It's just already, I don't want anybody stepping in to work with me in that level of energy anyways. It's not the right energy. If that person say, yeah, you can, there could be this like weird resentment later. So you really want to empower your people. I get so emotional. I feel so emotional right now because I know the power of sales conversations. And like write power in the chat or just even feel it yourself, even if you don't want to write, it's fine. But if you can feel like what's possible for somebody in just one moment, if you give them the idea of what they can do and say to ask for support instead of permission, like that is such empowering experience for a lot of people that I've worked with over the years. So I see a couple powers here. We're just going to check it because why not? Power, and then capital power. Yes, it's pretty cool. Okay, so here's something offer. I also say, you know, every context is different, but you might offer a bold idea because there are some people you just can say there's a lot of forces out there. Where there some people who care about you, who might ask for advice or permission, don't really understand. They just might not understand what you're trying to do for yourself and other people. So say like you know, you've all been there where you're going to do something. Somebody's like, why are you doing that? They just don't get it. It's okay. Like, and then also this is the other piece. They might want to influence you if they have stories, right? If they have concerns, fears, and all that in their own life. They might kind of project that onto you. Oh my God, don't do that. You'll never win, or that's a horrible idea. And you're like, wait a minute, that's their stuff. You know, that's their worries, their fears. That's not mine. And all of it's okay. There's no judgment. But if you can recognize it, then it's easier to have a beautiful conversation where you talk about the vision and support. So I could go on and on and on about this, but this is a really valuable part. I really believe that many of you are going to be at some point along the way, especially for offering any sort of like investment in transformational services, that the person's going to want to talk to somebody in their life, and you're going to need to know how to support them because they don't know maybe, and that's why they need to work with you, is to elevate that level of communication and confidence and support. So highly recommend reviewing this. People might say things like, we can't afford that. There's just no way we could do that. So don't let somebody else blow that person's flame out by somebody in the family or a friend, you know, that's really in a fear-based place. We've all seen it. Just, if it happens, it happens. But I'm going to say, give them resources, ideas on how to ask for support, how to really feel the vision, how to be clear so that that flame doesn't get blown out within them from somebody else that they love. It's not on purpose. It's not by ill intent by any means. It's just their own fear. And so allow them to, have resources, give it to them. Let's keep going. Next common objection. They might say something like, I'm in another program. I've already signed up for this other thing. Sometimes it's valid. It's not the right time. Like I've had people say that, I'm like, and what they're doing, and I'm like, I don't think it's the right time. Let's talk in a month or 3 months or whatever. Now, one thing you might ask though, if that other program focuses on the same thing that you guys had just had a conversation about, because this is where you've already talked about what's going on, where do they want to go, what are the biggest challenges, you gave them some ideas. Then they say they can't afford it, or excuse me, they're in another program, so they don't want to do something. They say, well, is that program focusing on the thing that you want, their vision? So if you're strong in the vision with them, and that other program is not helping them meet that vision, you can. Maybe it is though, maybe they don't need you. But you want to feel into it. It's like, just because they're in another program doesn't mean they can't work with you. Like, we all go to the dentist and get a manicure, just because we're getting help from one person with our body doesn't mean we can't get help from somebody else with our body, right? And so I just want to give you this from a different perspective. I hope this is helpful. If this makes sense, let me know. I hope this is, you guys will find this probably along the way. Ask them what results they're getting from the other program. Not as a judgment, like, what are you getting out of that? But just like, let's open it. Let's see, what else do they need to get where they want to go? You've already talked about the vision. Is that program helping them? Ask them what results they're getting. I'll give you an example. I get a lot of clients that come to me that have been in a lot of group programs, a lot of big mastermind programs, year-long, 5-figure programs. And they don't have enough one-on-one personal touch. So the messaging, the marketing, everything, it's not in alignment with them. It's like this idea, but it's not them embodied fully. And they don't have quite the right words. Once they work with me, the private, and I can see them, I know them, I can, help them with the languaging, see what marketing is actually going to work. Not all marketing works for everybody. And, help them really show up in the world, get personal touch, basically, right? The personal touch, the integration of the other programs. It's not that they didn't need the other stuff, but a lot of the other stuff is strategy, and I help them take that strategy and make it like theirs. And so I have a lot of people that are actually in multiple programs. Many of my clients actually are in group program and work with me privately. Why? I've done that. I've had a private coach since 2016, and I've been in lots and lots of group programs along the way. At one point I had 5 coaches. I ain't scared of getting help and doing the work. And so I'm not saying everybody needs 5 coaches. Not everybody's that's not everybody's capacity or desire even, but people can get help from more than one person at one time. And so if that's just the issue, let's make sure it's they are still getting the help they need to get where they want to go. All right. Another piece is, if you're working with people privately, like I just mentioned to you, like I'm, helping customize, really integrate a lot of things people have already learned. You might say things like, can you see how I can help you integrate all these other things you are learning and all these other things you've already done into your life or into your business or into your family or into your, whatever, your body, whatever you're speaking, like whatever you're representing. You can help people if they've learned a bunch of things. This is actually a big issue in the personal development world. And if they've learned a lot of things, what if you were the person to help them bring it all together and they just don't see it yet? So I think everybody, I know everybody on the call that's live right now, and many of you who are going to watch this training later, but I know who's on the call right now, and I know all of you do this. You can all help people integrate all the things they've learned in some area of their life or business. And so if you can just bring that awareness to people, they can feel the value you're offering easier. Whether they step in or not, it's still up to them. We're not trying to convince people, but we're giving them an idea like, hey, what if all this investment you've already made and done on all this work, we can like pull it all together and like make it work now. This is a powerful one. I've helped people a lot with this kind of understanding. I don't have the time. This is understandable. A lot of people are, quote, busy. You know, it's really about priorities. So it's okay. We all have different priorities. We all have different value systems. And there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just different. So what you want to do is find out, like, you know, if you had the capacity, like find out, you should in your program or whatever you're selling, your product or whatever, that like, you know, it's going to take about X number of hours per week, per day, per month, whatever the timeline is, to get where they want to go. Like, I know my people need to be doing X number of sales calls at X price point. They need to be offering at a certain price point, and I can give them, I will just generally, over the years I've done enough coaching, it's about an offer a day keeps the doctor away in the beginning. As long as you're playing at like the upper ranges of the, you know, $5, $10, $15,000 programs. Like when you start playing smaller than that, you got to get more people. But if you start playing higher level programs, if you do about 5 offers a week, 4 to 5 offers a week, you should reach your 6-figure goals and beyond pretty quick. So that's the calculations if you just do the numbers. And so I can tell people that, and then all they got to do is, everybody's different in terms of how they're going to market. So some people have audiences, some people don't, just depends on what they got going on. So that means hours marketing, and then also with their body and all of that kind of stuff. So I will literally tell them, this is how many hours per week you're going to need to get to the beyond 6-figure mark, whatever the numbers are. So ideally in your business, you know how many, because they might think it's like a bajillion hours and it's really only like 10, 20 or 2, 1. I don't know what it is for you, for your work, but it might not be that much at all. And they just, I will tell you this right now, this is research. This is lots of research done. One of the biggest stressors for women is time. So if you can help them feel that they can get results in not that much time, it usually will ease their stress, and they'll, same thing, feel the value of what you're offering. And then you want to ask for permission. Hey, would you like to chat about how to use time management here? Would you like some ideas? I can help you with that, if that's something you can help with. And the idea here, if you have notes, make sure to write this down, is link the time to the outcome that they want. Oops, excuse me. The results, like I just did for the time to the money. My people want money. I know it. They have a variety of reasons why, what they're going to spend on, but they want money. And I know they're great people. They're not selfish or ego-y or weird. They want that because that's where they are. And so I'm going to say, this is about how much time you're going to need to spend on this business if you want to get where you want to go, you know? And so that's what you want to do. What is it going to take? And then results, results, results. I know I talk about results a lot, but just remember that. And that's how they feel the value, and then help them with the time. All right. Here are some opportunities to you can copy these, you know, great language. You can use your own language too. It will take about this many hours per week to be in the program. So if you have like a group program, it's set up, it's going to be this much, you know, time, and then you're going to need to practice a half hour or do a journal exercise or something. What will happen if you don't spend time on this? So I've many times asked people, I said, well, if you don't, and there's no pressure here, same thing, I have no pressure, no judgment, and just let's open the mind and say, well, okay, if you don't spend the time on the sales conversations, 5 per week right now, like what will happen? Like what's going to be, you know, what's going to occur? And they're like, well, I'm not going to make any money. I'm like, okay, exactly. And if you don't make any money, we just keep going, right? If you don't make any money, what's bad about that? So there's no right or wrong, but we just keep digging. What will happen if you don't spend time on business? Well, I won't make money. Well, what will happen if you don't spend time on making money? Well, I won't be able to send my kids to college, or, you know, whatever. I won't be able to retire my husband. I won't be able to travel to Baja for a vacation. Like everybody has something different, but we go into it just to shine the light, not to tell them it's right or wrong, just to shine a light. I love to be a Socratic teacher. I used to be in academia, so very Socratic, and more questions you ask, more empowering you can do for, you know, empowerment you can create for people. if you could, so there's a lot of people, if they feel pressured by time already, because they got the kids, they got the dog, they got the family, they got the business, they got the travel, whatever, they got the things, they got to take care of themselves, trying to figure it all out. It's, it's a lot. So if you could, is a real gentle way to open the mind. That's not, you don't have to say you're going to do it. If you could carve out a few hours per week or 10 hours or whatever it is, would you want to sign up today? Like if you could like somehow, some way create like 5 more hours in your week, would this be a program that you'd want to sign up for? And it just helps open the mind, saying things. Is this really the thing? Because if they want it, it's just the time. Maybe we could find the 5 hours. Maybe we could help them. It's a very empowering question, this last one. I highly recommend. How we use our time is directly related to how our life is experienced and unfolds, our business and our bank account. So our time and our money are directly related. How we use our time, how we value ourselves, how much we charge per hour, all of that, what we do with our time. Now, I'm not saying money, business, career has to be the top value. In my life, health is the top value. Then my relationships, which includes my business. Actually, I've realized really deeper lately, I'm much more of a relationship builder than a business builder, I think. But I've built a business because I'm good at building relationships, and I value it, and I connect with a lot of people all the time, a lot. And I love it because I love humans. And so then, my career is probably third, my business piece, but it's really on top of, it's related to the business and my health and all of that. So it's, we look at the number of hours we spend, and then our bank account reflects it. If we spend a number of hours or elevate our price per hour, we can shift our bank account, we can shift our business, we can shift our life. So time is actually really valuable, little metric, that we can play with to align ourselves with our values more easily. So if we're spending a whole lot of time doing stuff that we say is in as high of a value, but we're spending all the time doing it, we need to change either our mind or change our time. So help your clients see time differently, that it's okay to be where you are now, but if you want to shift, build the business, if you want to shift and have the great love life, have the fit body, be happy in life, whatever it is, help your people see that if they just put this much time in, they can actually get that. Okay, this is one I don't hear a ton, but some of you out there with different kinds of businesses and different kinds of clients might hear this. I need an investor first. Just the same thing, no judgment. Let's just get their minds open. Let's make sure, do they have a proof of concept? If not, we need to get some clients or some customers or something. You need some sort of proof of concept before people want to invest in you, usually. Now, if it's something really, really amazing, maybe not, but sometimes it's like this kind of blue sky thing. And you need some sort of proof of, something grounded first. How much have you invested in yourself so far? That's also, bye, Vanessa. She said goodbye. See you later, honey. How much have you invested in yourself so far? So oftentimes, if you've invested in yourself, people are more willing to invest in you. Just open the mind. There's no right or not wrong number even, but let's just say you might want to put some investment in, depending on the project, you might want to put some investment in yourself. Get some proof of concept, something like that, before you start asking people for money, because you'll just be it'll be more convincing. And then let's open the mind. What will the investor gain from investing in you? So these are things they need to think about their future vision. So that, because if they're going to get somebody to give them money to work with you, let's help them. Let's say, what will this person gain once they invest with you, so that they see, maybe it's an employee. Well, if I get, better in alignment with my energy and not stressed, and, I'm really on point, I'm a higher performer, then because I work for my family company, my family's going to be happier. We're all going to rise together, and I'll never be sick again. There's all these possibilities if they work with you, so they can go maybe to their family, to their boss, to their employer or something, and say, hey, I need this money, this $3,000 to invest in a stress coaching program or something, right? so that I can get myself on point, so I can make this family and business popping. So there's all sorts of ways people can go and ask for money, but if they go and ask for money and speak results and vision of the future once it's all done, then they're more likely to receive it. So let's help them. And then what do you hope to gain by working with investors? So by getting money from somebody else to, somebody else invests in you, what do you hope to get? And ideally it's in alignment with the results that you offer, right? That's what we want for them. So I hope this makes sense. This is an interesting one to play with. I don't get this a lot, but every once in a while. So it's important to know how to support our people. I need to know more or study more. Well, this is often not true. I'll just be straight up here. People don't usually need to know more. Sometimes, most of the time not. So just ask some questions. What can you do with what you already know? Are you sure you need to know more information? Are you ready to take action? So just learning more isn't necessarily what's going to move somebody forward. Sometimes, but most of the time it's not. How much do you know so far? So just open when I ask questions like this, usually people chuckle. And they recognize it's just a pattern that they're in and that they've been in most of their life. I'm actually one of those. I'm an academic type. I've been in lots and lots of programs. I still am. I'm always in some program and I'm learning something new and exciting and interesting to me. And so I always, kind of had this idea that I need to know more, and I really don't. I know a lot. If I just were to even, 1% of what I know and just focus there, it'd be, fine. And I like to, do different things. So it's good, but we don't always need to know more. Sometimes we just need to do more with what we already have, and you can help them with accountability and support and alignment and strategy or whatever it is you do, help people with what they already have. Okay. I will do it later next year. Okay. Have you ever, this is an interesting one. Sometimes it's the right thing. So you just want to make sure to follow up with them later. We'll talk about that. But sometimes it's just the pattern. So you're going to have to be in tune over time and learn people and energetically pick up on, is this something that they just kind of like say all the time? I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to tell you, I know people, in different programs and groups, and that say this a lot. I'm going to hire you, Lila. Right. And I'm like, I'm ready for you, baby. I have no attachment. I'm ready. When they're ready, they're ready. But I've seen maybe some over 3-5 years. And when they're ready, I'm here for them. But it is a pattern. It's definitely a pattern. So you just want to, same thing, just shine the light on it for love. Have you ever said you do something later and then you've had to back out? Because sometimes what people do is they're scared to step in because they're scared they won't complete it. So it's okay, support them through that and, let them see that you're the kind of person who can help them move forward this time and do something different. And if they've backed out before, this could be the program, this could be the experience that they finished once and for all. Especially if you're kind of, support system that gives a high level of accountability. This is really powerful because people are scared to fail. And it's okay if you've quote failed because we're still alive. We're still moving forward. We never really fail. We just can learn. So let's get them out of that fear and stepping into possibility. What's going to be different in a month? I ask this a lot. Okay, what's going to be different in a month? And they'll share. Sometimes they got bills or they got braces, or they got, to pay for, they're doing it. I actually have a lot of people who will be traveling. Well, I'm traveling for a month to Fiji and Baja and Hawaii and Vegas. I got this one client's always having fun. And we're going to be gone for a while. So, we need to meet in a couple of weeks. So these people might say, well, I'm not ready to sign up now, but I will be in a month. So maybe you just take a deposit. Okay. Or something. And you say, or maybe you schedule a call for after they're vacationing or after their bills are paid, the braces, whatever. So it's okay. But you want to find out what's going to be different. Don't let them just like stick with that excuse. I'll do it later. That's like such a weak excuse. We don't want to let people stay in that. It's like so disempowering. And then what's going to be different, in a year, whatever the time frame, then we want to make sure to get it on the calendar. Okay, how is January 11th to follow up with you? Let's show them that we care by saying, hey, okay, I believe you'll be ready then. Let's talk and see where you are. What if we got started now before next year even started? Now, this is a what if question. This is a neuro-linguistic programming, opening the mind, just to let them consider possibility. If you did get started now, what would that be like? What if we got started now before next week? Or whatever it is that the timeline they said. What if? They'd be like, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe they'll say, okay, I'm going to do it. Or maybe they'll be like, well, I can't because I'm going to be worried and no. Who knows what's going to come up, but open their mind. What if we got started now? Let's play with it. Now, this is something I will say to people that I know well, okay? And you've got to feel it as a right energy of love and trust and all of that integrity here, because you could say that it could sound judgmental, or you could say it in a loving place. So let's just be honest. Next year is never coming. Next year never comes. Later never comes. I've said this to people who are giving me the excuse, but I'm not being ill intent here. And I don't even think they know what they're doing. They're just doing it out of pattern. It's not like they're like telling me even. It's almost like this thing that just rolls off their tongue. Oh, I'll do it next year. It's like, well, next year's never going to come. And it'll shake them a little bit. They'll be like, what? It's okay. That language doesn't, it's not empowering. So we're just highlighting it for them. This is bold. Not everybody will do this, but I'm bold. So be loving, be bold, and people will see you as somebody who can lead them. Okay, right now, take a breath. Feel your toes, feel your body, and just relax. I'm gonna check the time, make sure we're good. I'm gonna pause there and stop, share, and ask if you all are able to stay another 10 minutes.
I'm in.
Okay, so I'm going to go to future casting questions then, because I just realized I felt the time was over already. All right. So these are the ones I suggest you play with in your personal life. They're really fun. Sit around a dinner table, with your friends, with your, anybody that you meet, a stranger, your colleagues. These are fun to play with, and they're fun to help people dream and open their mind. So future casting questions are how you get people to get closer to feeling the vision. When they feel the vision, they feel the value you have to offer, and they're more willing to enroll with you and work with you and be all in. We want people all in. Whoa. So that's what this is about. Future casting. Why haven't you been able to get where you want to go? Why haven't you been able to get what you want yet? If they say they don't know, it's okay. It's scary to share. Say, if you did know, right? You're like, I don't know. If you did know, why do you think it would be? So you kind of separate them. If you knew, why do you think you haven't been able to get where you want to go? I don't know. Okay, well, let's feel into what you can ask them again. It's okay. So open their minds. What happens? So future questions. What happens if this doesn't change? Like, what happens if you don't, sign up today, and this you just kind of stay where you're doing right now? And what's going to be different? What's going to be the same? What happens? Same thing with the last one. If you don't sign up today, what happens? There's no judgment. Let's just open the door. Let them see the vision. Let them feel it with their own experience responding. If you ask the brain a question, it has to respond. So let them come up with their own experience, because you're just asking questions so they can see. How would your life change? How would your business change? How would your health change? Whatever you're working with, if you did sign up today. Let's just play with it. What would be different? Let them come up with it. Let them speak it. Don't tell them, ask them, and let them speak it. These are how I empower people through sales conversations. It's not by selling stuff. Many people sign up with me. They're like, I don't know what I'm getting. Just give it to me. And it's because I'm helping them with this stuff, because all the way we're going to work together, I've done it enough times. I know you should trust me because you sign up with me, right? That's the idea with your clients. They should trust you. You got the thing, you got the process down. You got the boat to Pleasure Island down. They need to be clear about their Pleasure Island and trust that you can get them there. And they trust it by you asking these questions. So ask your friends, ask them, how would your life change if you, like say somebody wants to lose weight. They're like, oh, I feel fat in my pants, and you're like, well, what if you, did lose weight? How would your life change? If you did understand, I know Leslie here, I'm not saying this would be exactly the conversation, but just as an example, like we both love astrology. So, maybe you sell an astrology package, and if you knew more about your astrology, how would your life change? What would be different in your life? If you knew about yourself and your, this and that. So there's all these ways you can pose these questions, but let's get them in the future. How important is this? So get it, I always say on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Where I'm not attached to your life. I always say, I'm not attached to your life because I got one of my own. I'm golden, But like, if, this is important to you, I can feel that we've had this conversation over the last, 45 minutes or something. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this to you? How important do you want this business growth? How important do you want this like time freedom? How important is it? Do you want this, presence and elevated health and whatever it is you're helping people with? You want to ask them, and then sometimes they might say on a 6, and you're like, okay, well, if you're a 6, this probably isn't the right moment for you to work with me anyways, because I don't really want to work with anybody who's not like at least like a 9 or 10. If you don't really want this, it's not that important to you. Maybe it will be later. Maybe it just isn't right now. How, does that feel true? And then you can play with it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But there's conversation opening about the importance and letting the person see what, they might say it's important, but it's really not, or vice versa. They're not giving it enough importance and it really is. So let's open the mind about that future experience for them. If this is right for you, because they're like, oh, I really want this, but, and they got their thing. If this, okay, you really, really want this program, what's the one thing stopping you? And sometimes it's the objection they gave you, and sometimes it's not. This is a great question, you guys, because it's later. It's a little bit later. You can use it earlier too, if you want to, in the challenges part, but it might be different than the objections. So you want to play with that, because it might be their self-confidence. Oh, it's really just, I don't think I can, I'm too shy right now. Or I'm scared, or, something, who knows what it is. They might bring up something way different. It's a really great question to ask. If you knew this is right for you, what's the one thing really stopping you right now? You'd be shocked about what people say. I'm fascinated by this one. People come out of left field sometimes, and I'm like, whoa, okay. They'll bring up childhood stuff. They'll bring up all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, I'm there for them. It's heartfelt, because it's, they know themselves well. If you ask the right questions, they'll respond with the truth of their own truth. What's stopped you in the past? This is one of my favorites. It gives them a way to see a pattern and move through it. If they have a pattern that this is the same excuse they always give over and over and over, they can still use that same excuse. It's okay. Okay. But if they want to change it, that's an option here. We have empowerment. Then ask them, what stopped you in the past? And is that stopping you now? Is it the same thing? Okay. Well, what would be different this time? Next question. What would be different this time? If you didn't, use money as an excuse, or if you didn't use time as an excuse, or if you didn't use whatever the thing is, education, not enough education as an excuse, what would be different? And one more question here. Do you feel like it's acceptable, right? Is it acceptable to stay where you are right now to you? If it is, fine, right? That's okay. But if it's not, let's help on. Let's say, hey, let's see how we can help you. What's at least one thing we can get started for you, get you going forward. Like, let's give you an idea to at least move you forward if this isn't where you want to be. Because if it's not acceptable to be where you are, let's get you, just at least a micro, turn. So wrapping up, you want to help people make their own choices. That's I know I've said this over and over, and it may sound almost like a record repeating itself, a broken record. But it's the key to having people work with you without them having any sort of resentment, any sort of disbelief that they can do it, is you empowering them through the process. They can make their own choices. Share what you have to offer with glee, with a excitement and heartfelt energy, and all of that. Don't rush your offer. Go slow. I remind you that, because you spent time and energy and years of preparing to present this to this person. So honor it. Honor your offer, and learn why they want what you have in your offer. What is it they really want? And then you can both easily find a marriage between each other's skill sets and desires and offering and receiving and whatnot. These are the pieces. Share willingly with glee, and then really learn more about them and why they want what you have, and it'll be an easy sell. So ask yourself, and I'll give you a little homework in a moment. If you know your own stories, your own objections, just own it, learn them. It's okay. We all have them. We've all had them. We might have more at some points we don't even know we have. And so just recognize them, and I'll give you a little homework. Know them well so that you can sell. If you don't know your own stories, you're not going to be able to sell, because you won't be able to help people through their own stories. We're not trying to change stories. We're just trying to give them options for a new story if they want to create one. So before next time, I'm going to give you this part of this homework was from last week. So if you've already done this, congratulations. If not, go for it. Make a list of your own stories and objections, the ones that you tend to lean towards. And then when you do, write out how you would respond. So I've given you language. So if you just do a little exercise, this is just literally like an exercise to help you remember. Write out an objection and then write out what you'd say. And usually the common objection that you have is the one you'll get the most. So that's why I say make a list of your own, because that's what you'll tend to attract. Learn how to respond with love and support and empowerment, like I just taught you. And then practice future casting questions with your friends and family and loved ones and colleagues and clients and future clients, because that's how we open the minds to empower people to step in to their greatest potential. And you'll build your business when you empower people. We all know that. All right, friends. I am grateful that you were willing to stay longer and learn. I want to ask one question if you're willing to share. Can you at all feel how this can grow your business? These simple questions.
Yeah, it's digging, it's asking the right questions, which has not been my forte. So yeah, it's certainly getting me thinking. But asking the probing questions, the ones that aren't kind of closed, that are a yes or a no, it's getting them to think a little bit deeper.
Yeah. I have an idea for you. Would that be okay to share?
Mm-hmm.
So your background represents this like imagination sort of energy. It's like mind blown.
It's my cosmic energy.
Cosmic. So humans have the ability to imagine our future and bring it forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever questions you can create that help people get into that imagination state will help them understand the value you're offering. Does that resonate with you, honey?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Okay. Get them to have their own cosmic, right, like that.
Okay.
And that's, probably how they'll want to sign up.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kelly or Leslie, do you want to share anything? And if not, no pressure, of course. I'll watch the mute buttons.
I love the framing questions at the end, especially the idea of like really making them verbalize what it would look like if it did, so they can sort of be accountable for the choices they're making when they don't be in action. That really resonated with me. Those are conversations that I'm naturally kind of good at. So hearing you give me permission to sell my business that way is exciting.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating how bold you can be if you're being loving, right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know this. I know you know this. So I'm going to speak your language. So what I'm going to say is go for it. Go for it. They need lead. Like, it's okay to be bold as long as you're loving. And that's what people are yearning for right now. Because they need lead, because they're suffering, like your people, right? So they need lead on some level. And if you're willing to say the bold things in a loving way, they usually have never experienced somebody who give them truth without judgment. And I know you have that. So on the sales conversations, that's really that energy you're bringing through question form. But even most people won't even ask these questions because they're too scared of revealing people's truth on a sales call. But we're different. We're all different in Achieve. We're all different in Achieve. We're really about helping people, and you can't help people unless you ask the hard questions. So that's why we're here to talk about it. It's gentle. It doesn't have to be harsh. It just can be gentle, but it's pretty bold. So you still want to give them open. Yeah, I love that. Go for it, girl.
I'll report back on my successes.
Yeah, I love those. I always want to hear. And Kelly, welcome. And same thing, no pressure if you want to come out and very scratch your throat. No, okay, I love you, Chica. Have a great holiday. I'll see you guys next week. And we're going to continue the conversation about what to do after the sales conversation so that you create more sales conversations down the road, on and on and on, over and over and over. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Honey. Bye.